I would like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of May 3rd, 2022. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'll also make an announcement before I do that, if you don't mind. In order to participate in the City Council meeting virtually, please register to speak using the link on the agenda under public comment or call 1-669-900-9128 and use webinar ID number 850-6487-3138. To raise your hand to speak on a particular agenda item, please use the raise hand button in the Zoom meeting portal. If you are using a phone, please press star 9 on the telephone keypad to raise your hand to speak. Press star 6 to unmute your phone when it is your time to speak. Your microphone will be unmuted for the time allotted by the mayor and will be muted upon completion of your comments. Madam Mayor, Councilmember Cordero?
Here.
Councilmember Escobedo? Councilmember Soto?
Here.
Councilmember Waterfield? Madam Mayor Patino?
Here. The first item this evening is a proclamation, and Councilmember Soto will be making the presentation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As we are seeing across the globe, extreme weather conditions due to climate change, now more than ever, it's important for us to acknowledge and celebrate Water Awareness Month. Whereas the City of Santa Maria maintains a robust water awareness and conservation program that includes community outreach, school education, complimentary home water visits, and suspected leak notifications. And whereas due to ongoing drought conditions, the Governor of California issued a call to action to all Californians to maximize the efficient use of water and to preserve supplies critical to human health and safety and the environment. And whereas every industry, business, and resident can make a difference by conserving water at work, home, and school. And whereas residents of all ages and businesses and industries of all types are invited and encouraged to implement just one of the many tips and ideas to help conserve and save water. Now, therefore, Alice Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby proclaims the month of May 2022 as Water Awareness Month in the City of Santa Maria, and urges everyone to do their part to conserve and preserve this precious resource. And to accept the proclamation is Myra Ritchie.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members, City Manager, department heads, and fellow city residents. On behalf of the Utilities Department, it is my pleasure to accept this proclamation this evening. During the month of May, the Utilities Department takes advantage of Water Awareness Month to promote aspects of all water conservation. Water Awareness Month is highlighted in the city's website, Utilities Department Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter. This is an opportunity to remind the community of the importance of the natural resources. Again, I thank you all upon receiving this proclamation and proclaiming May as Water Awareness Month. Being in water conservation for 20 years, I always get excited around the time during May, promoting May as Water Awareness Month and also promoting the annual Water Awareness Poster Contest. The past 2 years, we had to postpone the Water Awareness Poster Contest due to COVID. But I was given the green light by my director and my manager that I was able to bring back this year's contest, making the 11th annual Water Awareness Poster Contest. With that said, 8 elementary schools had participated and over 200 contestants had submitted creative, colorful posters. Considering that we did have postponed it for 2 years, I'm happy to say that we are bringing it back, and this year we'll actually start fresh, and next year will begin again being the 12th annual Water Awareness Poster Contest. Third grade students were invited to participate to create a colorful poster symbolizing Water Awareness Month and how to conserve water in our community. There was teachers that were out there that were hesitant of having to participate, but the teachers who are present here today are the ones who actually considered having to participate the last 2 years, even though we couldn't. So with that said, I thank all the teachers, all the students, and the principals that are here today. It was a hard decision for our judges, but they narrowed it down to 5 place winners, considering we have a first place, second place, third place, and honorable mention. So with that said, I'd like to announce this year's 2022 Water Awareness Poster Contest winners. If I can call upon honorable mention, Emmanuel Ayala Sanchez from Miss Arguello's class of Jimenez School.
Should we give them candy?
You can say anything you want, mijo.
I would like to thank the Mayor of Santa Maria for letting me participate in this year's water awareness contest and letting me create my colorful poster of water awareness. And my name is Emmanuel Sanchez from Mrs. Arguello's class.
I'd like to call upon another honorable mention, Selena Hernandez of Mrs. Billinger's class, Robert Bruce School.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Selena Hernandez from Mrs. Binger's class at Robert Bruce Elementary School. My colorful poster is about roses and how they need water just like us. Water is important because all people, plants, and animals on earth need it to survive. I would like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to participate in this contest this year to help teach others the importance of saving water and protecting our amazing planet. Thank you.
For third place winner, I'd like to call upon Irma Cervantes Morales of Mrs. McPeter's class in Alvin School.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Irma from Mrs. McPeter's class. My colorful poster is about how to save water. Water is important to all of us because if you waste water, we will not have many water to drink or use. Also, you can save water by turning off faucets from your house. I would like to thank my family and teacher for having me participate this year contest and creating my colorful water. Awareness poster. Thank you.
Second place, I'd like to call upon Nolan Corsa of Mrs. Jimenez and Mrs. Kilmer's class at Tunnel School.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Nolan Corsa from Mrs. Jimenez Gilmer's class, Tunnel Elementary. My color poster is about conserving water, and it's a short comic strip. It has a lot to say. Water is important to all of us because water is life, and without water, there is no life. I would like to thank my third grade peers and teachers for having me participate in this year's contest and creating my colorful water awareness poster. Thank you.
He's not going to let go of the candy.
And last but not least, for first place, I'd like to call upon Anaí de la Cruz of Mrs. Barraza's class, Alvin School.
Members. My name is Anaí de la Cruz from Ms. Braz's class. My colorful poster is about only taking 5 minutes in the shower, not wasting water when washing dishes and when brushing our teeth, turning off the water until we are ready to rinse. Water is important to all of us because we need it for our everyday consumption to stay healthy and clean. I would like to thank the City of Santa Maria for having me participate in this year's contest and creating my colorful water awareness poster. Thank you.
Once again, I present to you the 2022 Water Awareness Poster Contest winners. And of course, I'd like to thank all the sponsors that are up showing. They have been our sponsors for quite throughout the years. Most of all, the teachers, especially principals and the students and the parents. And I want to thank each and every one of you because without you and your support, we wouldn't be having this contest. Again, I've been the water conservation specialist for 20 years, and I must say it's a rewarding job working with the people, city council members, Madam Mayor, and also having to work with the community. Again, we established a water conservation campaign to educate our students. I go and educate the students through class presentations talking about the water cycle, the importance of our water and where our water comes from. So with that said, and to end this presentation, as a reminder to all, don't waste a drop and let's save together. Thank you. Again, this poster will also be at City Hall. It's to represent all our student winners. Our student winners will also be recognized through press release, through the media, social media, and also Saturday Times and The Sun. So once again, thank you all and congratulations to our students.
Before you step away, I recently am trying to become more aware of water and things of that nature. And just about a week and a half ago, it rained for a while. And I had gone to bed and I was reading, I think I was reading some council stuff. And I told my wife, I said, it's supposed to rain tonight. And I didn't shut off the sprinklers.
Right.
And I said, well, it's really not that much, I mean, they're only on for 10 minutes. And so I wasn't going to get up and do it. And then this guy on KCOY comes on and says, don't forget to shut off your sprinklers. So I want you to know that I felt really bad. So I got up, I turned the house alarm off and went out to the garage and shut the sprinklers off. So they were off for an extra day because of the rain. But I think we can all do a little bit more to that little tiny bit. If we all did a cup worth imagine what that would be. So thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you, Councilmember Cordora. Just so you know, too, I'm going to have to send you a shut-off nozzle and a water hose timer.
Okay.
Just as a reminder. But
Okay.
you are right, so with Mother Nature not knowing what to expect the next day, just keep in mind, when in doubt, just shut it off.
There you go. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Myra, and I know those kids were excited to get back into doing the posters again this year, so thank you very much for this enthusiastic group here. And thank you, parents and you teachers. You're really important to what the kids are doing. Thank you. Next, we have another proclamation, and Councilmember Cordero will be making the presentation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a proclamation. Is Bob Isip in the room? Okay, thank you, Bob. We'll call you up in just a minute, Bob.
No, other Bob.
Bob Isip? Isip. You know, and I asked her how to pronounce it, and I did it wrong anyway. Sorry about that. Bob Isip. Okay. This is a proclamation for the church, actually, that's right across the street over here. And it's a proclamation for the Methodist Episcopal Society Church. It says, whereas the Methodist Episcopal Society was created in 1873 by early settlers, and whereas the first church building was built in 1878 by Pastor H.R. Stevens from scrap wood taken from the Anna Lyle shipwreck at Point Sal, and whereas with the second building replacing the first primitive structure in 1892, and whereas the current Spanish Renaissance style church broke ground in 1921 at the corner of Cook and Broadway and was completed and dedicated on May 14th, 1922, to serve the spiritual needs of area Methodists and local community, and whereas the facility was built to serve the Central Coast community with location to hold events such as the early presentation of the Christian Science Society, providing the first home for the Mexican Baptist Church before they built their facility, and providing childcare for the Presbyterian Church located across the street. And whereas the church continued to provide their facility for the needs of the Santa Maria community, including the showers of blessings as a service to the homeless community, and the performance site for organizations such as Hancock College and the Santa Maria Philharmonic. And whereas the City Council extends its best wishes to First United Methodist Church for its continued service as a place of worship and the public community service facility in the center of the city. Now, therefore, Alice Patino, Mayor for the City of Santa Maria, hereby recognizes May 15th, 2022 as the 100th anniversary of the construction of the First United Methodist Church in the City of Santa Maria, and thank the church, along with its past and present parishioners, for providing a spiritual home in the heart of the city. Signed and dated on the third day of May 2022 by Mayor Alice Patino. Bob?
Pastor, would you like to say a few words? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor and City Council and all the leaders and decision makers of Santa Maria. As the cliche goes, the Church of God shall exist through the end of time. And we've been fortunate to have been there, the building, to have been there 100 years. And God willing, we will continue that. And one of our Methodist mottos is to offer our prayers, our presence, our gifts, and service and our witness. So we are grateful to be in this hub or this center of the city. We are in many ways a beacon, but also you might hear our church bell. So it's a reminder. Sometimes it pricks our conscience as well, because we have been throughout history on the front lines of social justice, and we do have some of our members here sitting in the back there, and I've been fortunate to serve as their pastor for 8 years, and they've been here a lot longer than I have, and just to say that I'm outgoing, meaning that I'll be assigned to another place in July. I'm returning to my home in Hawaii. So I'm going to miss Santa Maria, and I'm going to miss the church. So we thank you for this recognition. But also wanted to invite anyone, to come on Sunday. When the celebration happens, we will have a worship service at 10. All is invited. We have a luncheon following that. And then we will have tours of the facility. So if you wanted to come and read about the history, we're going to have storyboards. And at the same time, we're going to have some organists play some short segments. And then Hancock Choir, that will be from 2 to 4. And then Hancock Choir is going to sing some of their numbers from their Mozart coronation concert that afternoon. So you all are welcome, and we hope to see as many of you as we can. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Pastor?
Excuse me, Pastor. Pastor, we have a question.
No, I actually just want to comment. I had the opportunity of volunteering for the Shower of Blessings. It's a great program, and I met all the volunteers. They do a great job. Their heart is there. So I really want to say thank you for that service. It's the whole process from the clothing, showering, also shaving, getting connected with resources. So I think that's a great program, and thank you so much for what you do for the city. And
Yes.
all of you guys.
Yeah, I do want to clarify on that. The Showers of Blessing had been in existence for 10 years, but because of the pandemic, we shut down. And then by that time, several of our volunteers have since passed on to life eternal, and some of the other volunteers were not able to, and we have not resumed that program. But the United Way has carried on the showers at the Salvation Army. So we are referring folks to the Salvation Army. But we were grateful to have served for those 10 years, those meaningful 10 years. So thank you for bringing that up.
Bob, if I don't have anything scheduled on the next centennial, I'll read that one for you too.
All right. Sure.
And you're going to be able to enjoy those balmy breezes in Hawaii, and we'll remind you of the balmy breezes in Santa Maria, right?
That's right. Not so balmy in Santa Maria, but thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have another presentation, proclamation, and Councilmember Escobedo will be making the presentation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This proclamation is for the Compost Awareness Week. Whereas the Composting Councils of Canada, Ireland, Australia, United Kingdom, and the United States have declared the first week of May to be annual International Compost Awareness Week. And whereas the City of Santa Maria Wastewater Treatment Plant has established a regional compost facility with Engel and Gray Inc., where the city's biosolids have been composted since 1993, transforming organic waste into beneficial compost products. And whereas the City of Santa Maria Solid Waste Division developed a successful green waste collection program, diverting green waste and food waste from the landfill, conserving valuable landfill space, utilizing these valuable composted organics to build healthy soil and plants. And whereas this year's theme, Recipe for Generations, Compost, focuses on the crucial role recycling our food scraps and yard trimming plays by creating compost, which, when added to soil, results in a recipe that makes our food more nutritious, the air we breathe cleaner, and our climate healthier overall. And whereas the City of Santa Maria and Engel and Gray Inc. have created a partnership to serve the recycling goals of the Central Coast, and Engel and Gray Inc. has successfully taken organic feedstock and composed the material for sustainable landscaping, horticulture, and agricultural practices. Now, therefore, Alice M. Patiño, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby is recognized the week of May from the 1st to the 7th, 2022 as Compost Awareness Week in the City of Santa Maria, as well as appreciate the efforts of the composting councils, extension agents, homeowners, landscapers, farmers, recyclers, public workers, composters, gardeners, and plant growers everywhere. In witness thereof, I have And here to accept this recognition, this proclamation, we have Bob Engel.
I would like to say our homegrown Bob Engel, right?
Must be the wind that keeps me getting bigger. The balmies. Council members, mayor, fellow council members, and the staff, I'd like to thank you very much for doing this proclamation to recognize International Compost Awareness Week. It really ties in well with Maya's program in the water conservation, because compost is a vital part. If we put compost in the soil, it retains water. It requires less watering with compost incorporated in the soil. So water and compost go hand in hand, and the effort that the city has been doing, and us at Engel and Gray on the Central Coast since 1993, far ahead of a lot of other areas. And now with the city kicking off their food waste organics collection, we're providing a very valuable service in getting this done. Part of the festivities for Compost Awareness Week is we're having an open house on Beverages Road Saturday from 9 to 12, and we'll be there with complimentary compost, because it normally costs to buy compost, but we'll have complimentary compost. We'll be having vegetable transplants. People can go home, get enough transplants to plant a whole vegetable garden with that. A variety of different vegetables. We'll have a collection truck from the city of Santa Maria showing how the city collects the green waste, and how there'll be some staff from the city helping us explain the organics collection within the city. And we'll also have a lot of games to kind of help try to educate the public on what to put in which can, and because we're always trying to keep making sure that our organics collection is clean. We don't need plastic bags or bottles in with the organics. We just need, if it's organic, we'll take it. So we invite everybody to come out on Saturday from 9 to 12 and join us and have some fun, a lot of games. Have a coffee cart, free coffee, maybe some popcorn. Pardon? The address is 745 West Betaravia Road, just about a half a mile from Broadway on West Betaravia. If you hit the railroad tracks, you've gone too far. But you'll see a lot of signs. We'll have a big American flag hanging up, and hopefully a lot of people will stop by and check it out. Thank you very much, Mayor and council members.
Will it be anywhere around that big sign that says Engel and Gray?
Yeah, there will be. It's a little tiny.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Appreciate it. And thank you for the beautiful flowers.
You know, I always like to share the story of Mayor Lavalino when he was here. When he was a kid, the first time he ever watched a televised World Series game was in our warehouse. And because there was an oil well rig outside that they put an antenna up, and they were able to get KSBY TV from Santa Barbara, and they watched a World Series game. Trivia.
I'll have to-
Trivia.
We'll have to ask him about that.
Thank you. Next, we will have the public comment period. Madam Clerk, would you please read the criteria for the public comment portion of the agenda?
Yes, Madam Mayor. This time is reserved to accept comments from the public on consent agenda items, closed session items, or matters not otherwise printed on the agenda this evening. Unless otherwise directed by the mayor, speakers will have 3 minutes to comment. Direction to staff may be given. However, state law does not allow action to be taken on matters not on the printed agenda. Once the public comment period commences, no other speakers will be allowed to submit a request to speak form. Madam Mayor, it looks like we have 6 speakers present and currently none on our Zoom.
Okay.
3 minutes.
Yes, that'll be fine. Okay, Gary Hall, followed by Eileen Armijo, followed by Andrea Mayfield. Good evening, Mr. Hall.
Candy?
You can have some. Did they leave you any?
Yeah, there's a lot of candy left. Thank you, and good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Gary Hall, and I'm a resident of the Rancho Buena Vista Mobile Estates at 2135 North Railroad Avenue here in Santa Maria. I represent the North Santa Barbara County Mobile Homeowners Team. Finally, I have something new to say, and that is thank you. Thank you. According to a phone call I received from city staff member late last week, we've been added to the agenda at the June 7 Santa Maria City Council meeting. Woohoo! While details are still being developed, I want to say again, thank you, Mayor Patino and City Manager Stillwell. We are pleased that you have indeed heard us and responded to our many pleas. And I want to openly say thank you to Councilmember Soto and Councilmember Escobedo for publicly stating their support for us reaching this important step. I hope June 7 will be just the first step in providing us the opportunity to, 1, have a fair and open debate, 2, allow us a chance to dispel park owners' rumors of any potentially negative outcomes, 3, argue the property rights of the mobile homeowners are just as important as the property rights of the park owners who don't even live in Santa Maria, 4, fix and renegotiate the failed model lease and enforcement agreement and/or consider our proposed mobile home rent stabilization ordinance and/or develop a new mutually acceptable alternative. The mobile home residents of Santa Maria need and deserve your help. You have a real chance to provide that help and to protect mobile home space affordability. Thank you.
Thank you. Eileen Armijo, followed by Andrea Mitchell, followed by Peggy Brierton.
Well, I think Gary covered most of it, so I'm going to be short and sweet tonight. Mayor and City Council members, I'm Eileen Armijo, Encinias, and I live at La Maria Mobile Home Senior Park. Your constituents at La Maria and Nesbeth would like to thank the City Council for honoring our request for City Council to place this on the agenda. We look forward to the June 7th exchange of ideas to help mobile homeowners and to create a more affordable housing for the city of Santa Maria. Thank you for your help again.
Andrea Mayfield, followed by Peggy Brierton, followed by Michelle Cothy.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm also here today to say thank you. Thank you for agreeing to revisit all those issues that we have identified over the last couple of years related to affordable mobile home space rent. I look forward to an open and productive discussion that will result in benefits for all who are involved. Again, my heartfelt thank you. and thank you for your government.
You're welcome. I don't think kids like those as much as they do the others. Peggy Brierton, followed by Michelle Cothe, followed by Kathy Sharam.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Peggy Brierton, I'm a resident of Casa del Rio. And Mayor Patino, thank you so much for agreeing to put this on a future agenda. A full discussion can now happen. You've heard plenty from us. We got to have this dialogue back and forth. So thank you so much. And all the council that made that happen. Thanks again.
Michelle Cothe, followed by Kathy Sharam.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Michelle Noth, and I've lived in Santa Maria for over 20 years. I now reside at Casa del Rio Mobile Home Park. As a senior on a fixed income, I and many like me would like to thank you for working so hard to get the rent stabilization discussion going on the agenda. We just can't thank you enough. I'm just going to say this. I don't think you've had many meetings where you're getting this many sincere thank yous at the meeting. They're all sincere. Thank you so much.
I think you're right. Kathy Sharam.
Mayor and council members. Kathy Sharam, I live on Hermosa Street in Santa Maria, and I was happy to see on the agenda that this was Compost Week, and I thought it'd be a great time for me to give a shout out to Councilwoman Gloria Soto, who so generously gave up her time to show up at Earth Day at the Santa Maria Natural History Museum a week ago Sunday. She not only talked about how she built her own compost bin and how very successful it's been. And she encouraged everybody there to start their own and you know, it helps put nutrients back into the soil, and you've heard all of the great things that composting does, but there she is, she does it all the time. So I just thought it was a good opportunity to highlight her. So thank you, Gloria, and yeah, thanks for the water awareness and all the things that the city is doing. I really appreciate it, so thank you.
Thank you.
Also, women's bodies, women's choice.
Before we move on, Mr. Stillwell, did you have any comments?
Sure, just briefly, Madam
Sure.
Mayor, members of the council. We have penciled in the mobile home park model lease item for June 7th council meeting.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar, Madam Clerk, could you please read item number 3?
Routine items are presented for city council approval without discussion as a single agenda item in order to expedite the meeting. The consent calendar is approved by roll call vote with one motion. These items are discussed only on the request of council members.
Does anyone have items they wish to pull for discussion? None? None?
With that, Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Soto?
Aye.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Aye.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Madam Mayor Patino?
Aye. Next, we have a presentation. Madam Clerk, could you please read the title?
The City Council will receive a presentation from Pastor Carl Nielsen regarding the recent Serve Santa Maria Day held April 30th, 2022.
Mr. Stillwell, would you like to do the introductions?
Just very briefly, Madam Mayor, thank you. So we've been fortunate to have Pastor Carl Nielsen and the community step up for Serve Santa Maria to help beautify and work in our community. And Serve Santa Maria occurred last weekend, and we have Pastor Nielsen here tonight to describe the event and the gratitude, I'm sure, of the community coming out and helping us all. So, Pastor Carl.
Pastor Nielsen, welcome back.
Yes, although I'm retired from serving a church, I now pastor the whole community, Serve Santa Maria. So I'm going to take off my jacket. I got my Levi's on and my Serve Santa Maria t-shirt with my City of Santa Maria hat, and let me give you a whirlwind tour of what took place in our community last Saturday. This is Serve Santa Maria 21. Who would have thought back in 2010 when Alex Posada drove me underneath the bridge and asked for us to paint it, we would still be doing this 12 years later, huh, Alex? Amazing. So there was some tree planting at Carmen Lane and Gloucester. The Santa Maria Kiwanis Club and Key Club were doing that. Although I was told this afternoon by our leadership team that Councilman Escobedo, you were there helping with that planting, and the Kiwanis Club went to a different location. Just goes to show I don't really know what's going on with Serve Santa Maria.
Yeah, in fact, I would like to give a shout out to my team. We have a great group called Santa Maria in Action, and we partner. That's just making a couple of phone calls, but a lot of great people just care about Santa Maria, and they were eager to plant. We planted 45 trees in 35 minutes.
Wow.
And they were like, can we get more? Like, maybe next year.
Yeah, I know. We heard they were trees, but I learned they were more like seedlings. So we have to get on the same page with our definition. We sent too many volunteers out there, I think. Okay, that was one of the projects. There was another park project was at Buena Vista Park, doing some planting. Grace Baptist Church, the Rescue Mission, and Gloria Dei Lutheran Church were out there. This is their work. They were digging holes for 1-gallon plants and beautified that park a little bit. And now that is what I think is a tree.
That's a tree.
That's a tree. And I understand the ground was very hard, but our volunteers are persistent and courageous. And so that park got a little touch up this last Saturday. We were asked to do the graffiti abatement. I know the city of Santa Maria recently removed 31 tons of trash along the railroad tracks right here. And so we were asked to come in and finish off. This project was done by Crestwood Church, and we had purchased rollers, frames, roller covers, poles. The city brought out, I think, 10 5-gallon containers and empty ones. So we made 20 containers of paint, and they spread out. This was one of the teams. Everybody had a great time out there just rolling on paint. And so now if graffiti goes on to that area, you have the paint that you can easily cover it up. You see the two pictures above, that's what it looked like before, and the picture below, that's what it looks like currently. Another park project, Buena Vista Park, adjacent to Santa Maria High. Shelley Springer from Santa Maria High and the AVID class, they became a part of Serve Santa Maria last year. They got on board. They had such a good time. She said she's back. In an email this morning, she said they'll be back again for our next one in August. And so they were cleaning up there with the park, spreading bark, doing some weed. I believe that is Shad right there supervising the weed pulling. Is that correct? Yes, that is.
That's all he did. Just he stood around and supervised.
Supervisor. Hey, but I'm telling you, we need these supervisors at Serve Santa Maria. It's like herding cats.
Somebody needs to supervise.
And so KCOY stopped by at this project, and these 4 young ladies were asked. They were in the interview on KCOY, and they felt like celebrities. And indeed they were, because all of our volunteers, in a way, are celebrities when they give to our community. This young woman wanted to have a picture with Madam Mayor because these kids just felt so special, is what Shelley told me. I never got to this project, but it looks like it was taken care of very quickly, and it's just great seeing you, Mayor Alice, with these young people. I know you have a heart for that. So the people from my church where I used to serve, they do the dirty work. It's, as one of my colleagues says, picking up litter is not sexy. No, it's just sacrificial labor. And so we've got some of our folks that were out there along the railroad tracks and a couple of other places that when I emailed Jason, I said, where do you want volunteers to pick up trash? He lets me know, and we take care of that. And so this was one of the 3 houses that we were given. This one came to us via code enforcement, and a wonderful 90-year-old lady called Flower lives there. And so Allied Beverages, they have just come on board with us again last fall. They loved being a part of it. And this is the little advertisements that she put up in her business. Jamie Hendricks is the person. And so they sent me these pictures of their team. They they like to have their picture taken when they're doing something right, and then they post that in their business. So that's them out there taking down the weeds and just helping out Flower. Over on 410 East Park, we had a much more challenging place. This woman has lived in this house since the 1970s, and so we actually took the weeds down, rototilled it, repaired the fence, and Bedford Enterprises donated the dumpster for the day. She never thought she would fill a dumpster, and she did with all of our volunteers. When I spoke to the people who were serving here, there were students from Rigetti, St. Joseph's, and Santa Maria High Schools all working together. To me, that is a picture of the kingdom, friends, when we all can work together and cooperate. So, and seeing our Serve Santa Maria t-shirts out there, we gave to our volunteers last Saturday a t-shirt that, like the one I'm wearing. I also saw youth from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. These kids were workers. It was just like a bunch of bees all over this fence, and it had been many years since it ever looked like this. And so these kids stayed till the very end, till 1 o'clock. Because I knew we wouldn't finish by noon, and I said, if I buy pizza, will you stay? Because I've learned in being a pastor that bribery does work. And so they did. They finished the fence, and the woman here, this is Lori, she is just so excited. Her daughter and her said their home has not looked like this in probably 15 or 20 years. And so it was our pleasure to do that. Now, another home down in Orchid was at 927 Dahlia. This is Jim Honeycutt. He came out with me last Saturday, the Saturday before, and I took all of his, I scraped all of his garage, and up there, the trim above needed scraping too, and this area right by his door. So we got it all ready to paint. But I got to say a shout out to some men from First Christian Church, because there's like 5 or 6 of these guys who not only served on Saturday, but were there at this home all day Thursday and all day Friday and all day Saturday to complete this project. There were 2 dead trees that they took down. They demolitioned the fence that was falling apart, and they cemented posts in on Friday, filled a dumpster on Friday. When I was there Friday afternoon, I said, oh my gosh, you guys, you filled the dumpster. So I want to say thank you to the city of Santa Maria. I know that we get privileges twice a year at the landfill, the waiving of fees, but I called the city. They gave us permission to take the dumpster out on Friday so we could start with an empty dumpster on Saturday, which we filled twice as well. So 3 dumpsterfuls came out of this house in Dahlia. They built the fence. I'm telling you, these guys are professionals. It just looks so nice. And so we primered the trim up above and put the color trim on Saturday. Again, people filling up the dumpster. Whoops. And then people primed the garage and the front porch and finished the fence with a gate. It was 225 or 250 feet of fence that we put up at this man's house at no cost to him. That's Serve Santa Maria. Now, I did ask the church next door to this house, this is Wine Press Church in Orchid, if we could use their parking lot for our volunteers. And when I had spoken to the pastor there, one of my colleagues, Polly Gilbert, she said, oh my gosh, Pastor Carl, she said, we've been trying to help this man for years, but it was beyond what we could do as a small congregation. I said, if you can let us use your parking lot, we have all of the equipment, we have the resources to do it. She goes, can we provide lunch for the volunteers? And so they did. And this is just such a marvelous example of when we do cooperate with each other and trust each other and love each other and respect each other. Whoops, let me back up there. They provided this wonderful lunch for the volunteers. You can see the fence up in the top of the photograph being built in the background. So these guys from this church, they worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all day to complete this project. And so here they are just finishing up. I think it was about 3 in the afternoon when I was there. There's the fence. Just remarkable what we can do. And there is the front yard that had dead plants, dead trees, and all freshly painted. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Now, One of the things that we have become known for, evidently, is the painting of the United States map on school playgrounds. And we were at Pine Grove. This is what it starts like. We have a paper stencil, actually made out of newsprint, which we've become very good at recycling. I think we've got 6 or 7 uses now out of this one map, and I'll have to get a new one of these days, but it's still working. You put all these dots down, and you connect the dots, and you get this. And so this had just been freshly oiled over spring break, and we came in and painted the map. This is a group from South Valley Church, and they are gathering for prayer as they begin these projects. And this is the upper playground that was done by Orchid Presbyterian Church and Pine Grove Baptist Church. So it's a wonderful combination that serves Santa Maria of our faith community working together with our city, working together with our businesses and other nonprofits. It's just an amazing collaboration. And so a lot of people, we actually had too many people on this playground. We had to send some of them away because only so many people can paint on the map at once. But because of what happened here, I was contacted by the YMCA and by another principal in the community that would like us to do these maps. This school is school number 26 that we have done this. And we've expanded from just doing the map, which is how we started, to to doing the tether pole, the foursquare, and the hopscotch. So we really color a playground so kids have a fun place to play. And in fact, I bumped into, while I was there, a young girl who attends this school, and she got to color her playground. It was absolutely wonderful. And so here's some of our volunteers who were still left when everybody had gone. That's what it looks like when it's done. This is that lower playground. And I was standing up here taking this picture, and I said, isn't that the Microsoft colors on those foursquare? And I believe it is. So we don't tell people how to color their map or their playground. We just give them the paint, and they do the creativity. In case you wanted to see what it looks like in my garage, the day before, we stage all of those things there. And just a couple hours ago, we had our evaluation meeting for Serve Santa Maria. And Rudy Gutierrez said, maybe we could give you Manabi, that building there to stage. That would be a great help, and it would make my wife very, very happy. I still owe her a car wash, as we had the cars out for several days, but it's, one more. And then our last project was the scissors lift to finish up some of these columns at St. Andrew United Methodist Church. We hadn't quite finished that project on the last time, but we did now. And if I had my druthers, each time we do Serve Santa Maria, I would love to work with our park department and do parks. I would love to do a church, and I would love to do a school or two. And we do private residence as well. All of that we do is for free, just like God's love. And so I do need to say a thank you to some of these people who were a part of it. Bedford Enterprises has been giving us dumpsters for 12 years. Amazing donation. City of Santa Maria, I work with Jason, I work with Alex. Alex just, I think, emailed me yesterday congratulating me on another great Serve Santa Maria. It's all our volunteers, to me, that are the great heroes. I may have a good idea, and I can organize, but you can't do it without people. Costco, they gave us some money for snacks. Dunn Edwards Paint gave us some free paint. Home Depot gave us a lot of money off as we bought a lot of fence boards and wood there. Pepsi Distributors gives us the water. Portable John's gives us a portable John at the projects I knew that were going to go beyond the noon time. And then United Rentals gave us the scissors lift. So that, I believe, and these are just some of the people. We have never asked for money except one time in 2015 when we became a nonprofit organization. And if you would have told me years ago that an idea I had would turn into a nonprofit, I just would have laughed at you. I just thought that would have been impossible. But what I've learned is one person can make a difference. And God is full of surprises. So these are people who have donated to us over the last year. Hardy Diagnostics, Nancy Diaz, who happens to be seated right here. Ned Brandt Ag, Ron and Mary Nanning, Santa Barbara Foundation, who really launched us. They gave us several grants over the years, and when they gave us the last one and said it was going to be a matching grant, I kind of groaned and I said, oh no, now I have to become a fundraiser. I said, I'm a pastor. When we need money, I just take an offering. But somehow I've learned how to do that too. But so God can work with very average, ordinary people like me and do wondrous things. And Thrivent Financial I wrote some grants through them. They have a thing called Thrivent Action Teams. And so we've written a number of grants through them over the years. Without them, I don't think Serve Santa Maria would have ever started. That is my presentation. Oh, one last thing. This is the way when I do presentations and I make videos, I end with these words, Soli Deo Gloria. These are the same words that Bach put on the end of all of his pieces of music. And I've said, if Bach can do it on music, I can do it on PowerPoint presentations and videos. To God alone be the glory.
I think you're amazing, and if you were Catholic, you could be canonized. But I've been along with you all these years, and I think everything you've done, it just amazes me. It just amazes me. I don't think anyone ever tells you no, or do they?
I will say this: I have had amazing favor in this town, in my church, in this community. And I just think God has just given me opportunity. It was when I took just a brief background, when I took some kids to a high school national youth gathering back in New Orleans in 2009 to help the city of New Orleans recover from Katrina in 2005. There were 38,000 youth there, and the part of the deal was that we would each give a day of service to the city of New Orleans. Well, you can imagine with 38,000 people over a week's time, a lot was done. I was very inspired and touched by that. And when we listen to our heart and we listen carefully, God can do great things. I came home, I had signed up to pray at this city council the week following that. And I shared that brief story with the city council at that time. And I just remember saying, why can't we do something like this in our own community? And the response was among the city council, why not? And that started Serve Santa Maria. So I'm quite humbled by the amazing favor that businesses, how they've contributed and done so gladly and willingly. It's pretty amazing. And I'll just never forget being with Alex in the pickup truck. They drove me down into the riverbed and said, now, there's all this colorful graffiti, and if you can even get halfway across, we'd be absolutely delighted. I said, I don't know how this is going to go. I spoke to my colleagues in the Pastors Network, and there were a number of them who said, Carl, we're behind you. Whatever you do, we're behind you. We don't know how to do it. You do it. And so we came up with painting under that graffiti underneath the bridge, which I understand may need to be done again. We'll be back in August. And in that day, over 200 people showed up. And we were done with the entire project in an hour and a half.
I remember.
I will never forget it. And it spoke to me and said, we can do this. Many hands make very light work. So thank you for the opportunity to come and share my love for God and my love for this community with you tonight.
Thank you so much. Mr. Escobedo.
Pastor, I've been part of Serve Santa Maria this is my 4th year.
Okay.
Since I found out about it, and since then I was impressed of the way that people just show up, start working, and the amount of people that I'm going to the to the Maldonado Center.
Maldonado Center.
You know, it was like everybody and making teams, and that was part of the. When I found out that it was coming up, I couldn't resist. I started talking with my friends, with people that it's up there that I wanted to do more for Santa Maria. I keep saying that that's the Santa Maria style, and that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with Santa Maria and people that care about it, and that it was great. On Saturday we have a good group. Some of jump in. We finalized the work, and they wanted to do more. So we started pulling weeds and started doing other stuff. And they, when is the next time? So I'm definitely gonna share the invitation so we can be part of the next one. And thank you so much for what you do. Thank you, everybody. Where's the camera? Thank you for the volunteers and all the businesses and everybody who support this great program. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we were talking in our evaluation this afternoon about going back to the Maldonado Center. We have not been able to do that because of the COVID restrictions, but it seems like we're starting to see that daylight, because we do believe that when we gather in the Maldonado Center and you see all these other people that are there, hundreds of people, there's an energy there that's created that's hard to duplicate when we go directly to the projects. Now, there are the eager beavers who just want to go to the project. I get that. But there's a certain energy that, so if things clear, we'd love to have the Maldonado Center, and that has again been a donation from the city, waiving fees for us so that we can gather the troops and then send people out. So we'll see if that door is open for August.
And don't forget, the big draw at the Maldonado Center are the donuts in the morning.
Oh. Yeah.
But, however, I want you to know, Mr. Springer stepped up and he had 2 big boxes of donuts at Buena Vista Park.
Oh, that's what I heard. And that's what's so beautiful. Again, we can put all these projects out there and get people to come, but it's the creativity that everybody brings to the project. They knocked out their project in a short time, and then they just started walking around, picking up trash and doing other things. That is leadership. And it's just so awesome to see it happen in our community. So I just want to thank the businesses, the faith community, the nonprofits, and the city of Santa Maria and how we work together. Let's keep it going. I just never dreamed it would become what it is. God is great.
It is.
Thank you. Well, one thing I learned at Buena Vista Park, there are a lot of smokers, and they all drink Modelo beer, because I was picking up cigarette butts and I was picking up bottle caps, and I guess they just throw them into the vegetation. So,
Oh boy.
anyway, thank you, Pastor Nielsen. Much appreciated by everyone in our city. So now we have another presentation. Madam Clerk, could you please read the title?
The City Council will receive a presentation from the Santa Barbara County Association of Governments regarding its Regional Broadband Strategy Project.
It's tough to be last, isn't it?
It's the best.
Well, that's a tough act to follow right there. Mayor Patino, members of the
Yes.
council. As you know, the city is partnered with SBCAG, the Broadband Consortium of the Pacific Coast, Santa Barbara County, and 6 other cities to develop a regional broadband strategic plan. The project is underway and is in the early stages of the stakeholder awareness campaign, and is conducting surveys to collect data on the broadband access in the region. Maria Kelly is here tonight, and Bill Simmons, I believe, is on Zoom to give an update on the project. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Maria to lead through her presentation.
Thank you for
I'm
being
so
here
pleased.
tonight, Ms. Kelly.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really glad I was after the conservation, the composting, and everything else, because that was amazing. All of it, I love, all of it, so thank you. When you start a project like this, you start asking questions, and then you uncover more opportunities. to solve more problems. This has been a really fun project. I'm really pleased to be here tonight to provide you an update. And if we have questions after, Bill Simmons and I will hopefully be able to answer them. My name is Maria Kelly, and I'm on contract with the Economic Development Collaborative out of Ventura and Santa Barbara counties, and I work with the Broadband Consortium of the Pacific Coast, and this is a special project for us. Tonight we're going to cover a little bit about California Broadband for All, why that's important, the timeline of the project outcomes for the county and incorporated areas in the cities, some of the data snapshots of what we've received so far, again, crowdsourced data, and local considerations for your council and policymakers and staff as we move forward through this process and beyond this year when we have to invest the funds that we're going to try to attract. So legislation that supports regional planning for broadband is California Broadband for All. You'll hear me talk about that whenever you see me, you'll hear me talk about California Broadband for All. And significantly, these are 4 of the significant pieces of legislation that were in early 2021, and California Broadband for All was signed in December of 2020, obviously spurred on by COVID. There's significant work around policy, different types of prioritization for rural communities, and we're going to see repetitive funding to some of these year over year. From the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which we're all eagerly awaiting, what that's all going to come down. Some of the highlights for consideration are grants, data map, deployment location mapping. Some of it, the crowdsourced data collection that we're doing will hopefully help work for some grant applications. Digital Equity Act, which again, you'll hear me always talking about at the end of the day, why we're doing this. It's digital equity and inclusion. It's not just infrastructure, although we do love infrastructure. It is for inclusion, and then telecommunications and workforce. Where we are is right around March, April, moving into May, and I'll have to look at my notes because that's too far away. We're doing a lot of the identification of assets mapping, and we'll be pulling together our GIS mapping group and sharing everybody that tool. It will be an open access tool accessible to all cities and the county. We'll be using it to leverage, again, looking for funding. As we start, we are already starting to look at our analysis framework and start working on some draft outline and presentations for input from our points of contact within our cities, and then start working on scheduling presenting our deliverables in hopefully September, October. It's going by so fast. Project outcomes, these are significant. What the outline of the plan will have for everyone. We'll absolutely have the collaborative stakeholder organization, which we've been working on with SBCAG at the core. A countywide middle mile approach, again, we'll be seeking input. We're still seeking input from our technical advisory committee, our ad hoc committee, all the different groups that we're working for. We'll have some recommendations on municipal last mile priorities and resources. Open GIS that I just mentioned, that's going to be a significant resource for this county, and the fact that we've done that pre-work will absolutely support us, again, fingers crossed, with our grant applications for everyone. And then uniform policies, to aggregating uniform policies and really focusing on that long-term digital equity and inclusion and how we're going to execute those plans. So this is, again, crowdsourced data is really, really unique. And so this was pulled when I had to submit this PowerPoint. We had about 956 respondents. We're up to about 1,076 respondents on this. This comes from the needs assessment survey. And this was just interesting. A perception question. Sometimes you wonder if you really should ask perception questions, but perception is reality, so it really is important to ask perception. So asking the residents, do we need to have increased broadband capacity? Even though the bulk of the citizens of our county are connected, the capacity or the quality are not up to where we want them to be. Again, under Broadband for All, the 3 main goals are access, affordability, and speed. We need to have it faster and accessible. So really interesting that for the most part, yes, overwhelming yes. The next real quick snapshot that I wanted to provide for you was, again, we see that most of the people that have responded to this survey, keep in mind response to the survey, 99% are connected. The bulk of our responses are coming out of Santa Barbara, Carpinteria, and Santa Maria. We're going to be doing a second round of data, really reaching out to the eastern area and the west of 101 unincorporated areas because we need some more targeted data. While this is really helpful from a business economic development standpoint or just some basic information, we need to look a little bit deeper. So we'll be doing a little bit more digging, and I'll probably continue post this project. And again, here's another perception question. There were a couple people that were concerned, or a couple industry people that were concerned about asking about this perception. And what this tells us in some of the questions around it is the connection. Do you feel like the connection is good? Well, you know that when you're being disconnected because there's too many devices on, or you're being disconnected because a certain time of day. So keeping in mind, the perception is still overwhelming. It's not great. We could do better. And when you look at our actual speed test data, a bulk of our speeds are still on that lower end, which is under the 25. And the minimum speed requirement for broadband for all is 100 up, 100 down. So there's still more work we can do. So just wanted that the perception and the data captured they're corroborating each other. For your consideration as we move forward. These are just some high-level tasks, which you've already completed. Main point of contact to work with. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure working with the City of Santa Maria. You've been extremely collaborative. Participate in gap analysis. I was working on a survey, and the state of California, or I was contacted by GoBiz and CDT, and they're also working on jurisdiction survey. So I'm trying to figure out how to either completely take theirs and just beta test it on us, or wait for them. I think I'll probably go ahead and beta test it on us so that we have our own data. Again, one of the reasons why we're doing speed testing and needs assessment is so that we have our own data to make our case for why we want to do what we want to do with our infrastructure. Again, the GIS mapping partnership, excellent. Thank you so much for your work. We might still come back to you for a little bit more information once we show you what we have, and if there's other layers that you'd like to upload, we're able to do that. Keeping broadband in the front of your continued conversations and discussions, not necessarily committing funds, but making sure that as you're making planning processes, that it is in your mind is becoming a fourth utility. There is a future. We are looking at a different landscape moving forward, and it needs to be part of our ongoing conversations, especially around policy decisions, whether it's Dig Once policies or some other telecom. We've been meeting with telecoms to find out barriers to entry into certain markets, and we'll be sharing that data with you as well. Different cities have different policies, different guidelines, and that makes it very difficult for telecom to deploy. And so we're trying to identify, and we'll share some of those outcomes with you. And then again, continue to participate in the conversations, these planning efforts and work efforts. Thank you so much for all of your support at last week's forum. That was very engaging and very informative. Really enjoyed the conversation, and Santa Maria really showed up with an awesome panel as well. So if you have any questions, happy to answer them. Mike Becker from SB CAG is our project manager. Feel free to reach out to him at any time. Like I said, we will still be seeking some more crowdsourcing some data, and all that information can be found on the SB CAG website. And I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Any questions of Ms. Kelly? Not?
I will say to you that I was impressed with the presentation at the library last week as well, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but very informative.
Pleased to have your participation. Thank you.
Mr. Stilwell.
Sure, thanks. Just so thank you, Maria. I was at a meeting last Friday with Bill Simmons, and it was the San Luis Obispo County cities and the Santa Barbara County cities, and they talked about how the regional approach in Santa Barbara County is working so much better, and I wonder if you can touch on that or maybe explain what's working well and how SB CAG's involved a little bit more.
Absolutely. It really was incredible leadership from within your cities and your county and within SB CAG to really coalesce and come together, and I could not be more complimentary. Really, the model has gained enough attention that we've just been awarded another $150,000 grant from the California Emerging Technology Fund to see if we can have a little more influence in encouraging SLO County and Ventura County to align themselves, because again, deployment goes over imaginary boundaries. So when we want to talk about long runs or even interconnecting communities, we need to really be looking at it collectively and together. And the consortium region is Ventura, Santa Barbara, and SLO County. But Santa Barbara County, the way everyone came together, and with Margie Kern's leadership and really the team coming together, this is a crowdsourced project. We're pulling in support from the Northern Santa Ynez Shumash team, Econ Alliance, the consortium, and it's been really, really fascinating. I could not be more amazed and appreciative of how collaborative everyone has been. It's quite, the state's looking at the model. Everyone's sort of doing things their own way. The collaboration around and the results out of this model and the speed with which we've been able to achieve results, especially around the data collection, has taken notice. And we've met with CPUC leadership, we've met with GoBiz leadership, we've been meeting with CETF. So we are incredibly proud of the work that's happening.
You know, I think, Mr. Stilwell, I think each mayor and supervisor on the SBCAG board and then our ad hoc committee has been able to identify those key people in our communities. It's just the momentum there is like we all want to move forward. Some can't move as fast as others because they don't have the resources, and we're willing to come in and share our resources with them. And I just think and I keep saying it's the first committee I've been on where everyone is so engaged, and there's no politics, there's no anything going on in there. We want to work together regionally, and I can't thank Margie enough because I think her leadership has been key.
Her leadership was absolutely key. And really, when you're looking at solving problems, you really do need to go grassroots and top down. So bottom up, top down. That's the most efficient speedway. So when we're doing these forums, they're very, very grassroots. So we really are talking to people, and then we've also got these other conversations. So it's a really unique approach, and I'm really thrilled to be a part of it.
It's probably really good when nobody knows anything, right? Because all of us,
yes.
Joan Hartman was saying she was doing some research and somebody else was reading somebody else, and I'm thinking, it's sort of like teaching someone to dance. If they don't have any bad habits, they'll learn to dance faster. Better. So I think that we all got together because we knew we didn't really know anything, and we got people who did know something, and we're all on that first step together. So.
And we really are, and I just sent out an invitation to discuss a programmatic EIR for consideration, and I have a gentleman coming in from Nevada County, and he's written a couple articles for RCRC that we've posted, and one of them is really coming up with a collaborative regional broadband strategy, and that's what's going to line you up at the front of the line when we request funding. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully see you in July, maybe August, September. We'll see you soon, before the end of the year.
Thank you. So let's see, the next item would be a report by our city manager, Mr. Stilwell.
Sure, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. So the next meeting of the city council is May 17th. A number of proclamations. One of note is Go Rodeo Days is June 2nd through June 5th. We'll have a presentation from Central Coast Community Energy for their annual update, and the pavement management plan update to receive information on our latest pavement condition index, and then the third quarter financial report. That concludes my report.
Thank you. So we'll get the oral reports of council members, and Mr. Cordero, can we start with you?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. After the last council meeting, the following Wednesday morning, I did the Ben Hayes Show, and it's a recap of the council meeting that we had, and we just had the minutes on. Every week now, we have a meeting with the United Way on the Queen candidates for the Elks Rodeo. On the 26th, I was at the Broadband presentation that they mentioned. She just was talking about at the library, and I talked to Mr. Stilwell about it. And if any of the five of us up here should have been at that meeting, it certainly should have been me. I don't get along real well with this modern technology, so I think that it's important that I go to these things, and it really is impressive to learn what they do. And what was most complimentary was what she was just saying, that other communities in the state are saying, how do you do that down there in Santa Barbara County? How is this happening? And can you help us do that? There's a lot happening elsewhere behind our backs that people are talking about. On the 27th, I was at a Santa Maria Police Awards show out at the police department, where they gave several recognitions to Officer of the Year and dispatchers and several other people that were there. It was a really nice function that the chief put on out there, and it's something that he hopes to bring back to the Elks or something like that in the next year. But it was really a pleasure to see some of our fine police personnel receive recognition. And then on the 28th, I was at the CCWA board meeting out and down in Buellton. And I got to say, my hat has to be off to Ms. Waterfield and Shad for all that they do. This is a very complex,
fluid
issue of water. It's extremely complex. It's much more difficult than just, when we all at home, we turn on the faucet, water comes out, and we fill up your glass, and you walk away, you don't think about it. There is a lot going on behind turning on that valve, and these guys are right on it. I was just trying to learn a little bit more about it, and they were talking about the PERS responsibilities and the retirement this, and I thought, what does that have to do with the water? And it does, because it's a business all its own. They do everything at that meeting that we do at this meeting with different players. They have their own attorneys there. They have our clerk, all these people. And it is a very, very impressive, complex organization. And my hat's off to Shad for the time you put into it, and Ms. Waterfield is putting quite a bit of time into it as well. And that's it for me, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Escobedo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last April 30th, I attended the Serve Santa Maria event. That's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
Ms. Soto.
On Sunday, April 24th, I attended the Earth Day Festival here across the street. I talked about composting. I was pleased to be able to share my experience with folks. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the fact that the proposed SCOTUS ruling was leaked, and it's absolutely heartbreaking to know that Roe versus Wade is getting ready to be wiped away from millions of Americans. And as someone who has gotten an abortion, I can't imagine anybody being forced into parenthood when they're not ready. And so I hope that, I'm pleased that we live in a state where abortion rights and access is being expanded, and I hope we can continue to support those efforts.
Thank you. April 20th, I attended down in Buellton, I attended the Project Opioid, which Sheriff Bill Brown has put together. It's our second meeting. The subject's fentanyl, and so I'm really becoming very educated on something I knew nothing about and how it is poisoning some of our kids. I attended a suicide prevention, a 101 webinar. On the 21st, I had an APCD meeting and the SBCAG monthly meeting. On the 26th, I attended the Broadband meeting here at Shepherd Hall. And I think one of the reasons that Santa Maria was further ahead than any other city, probably on the Central Coast, is because years ago, when Rick Hayden was here, we started doing the optic fiber loop all around. It's from the police department, it goes down to Betaravia, down to Miller, from Miller down to Main Street over to Blosser, and then there's like 6, 7 spurs that we have. So we've been doing it as we pave the streets, so we've been doing it in a very thoughtful, economic way, and so we're ahead of other cities, like I said, probably in the whole Central Coast. It's something we've been doing and doing quietly, but a lot of people didn't know we were as far along as we were on that. So the whole thing on the broadband has been great, and I feel privileged to be working on that committee. On April 22nd, I attended the Employee Awards Program out at the Santa Maria Police Department, met with our representative, Carbajal, and I was on a meeting with him on my laptop in the conference room at the PD, and then went into the Employee Awards Program. April 28th, I attended the Joint County Cities Housing Task Force for Santa Barbara County, and also did the tobacco prevention interview with UCSB and the County Health. On the 29th, I attended the Strawberry Festival, and on the 30th, I did serve Santa Maria at Buena Vista Park, and did the, that's all I did. That Strawberry Festival in Buena Vista Park. On the Sunday, I did the Minerva Scholarship presentation to 13 kids that Minerva Club had selected, and I think each student got $1,400 to go on to school. May 2nd, I attended the West Coast Customs Car Show meeting, and that's going to be here May 27th, 28th, and 29th. So Friday, May 7th, they'll be doing their cruising from Stoll to Cook down Broadway, and it starts at 7 o'clock. And I think that is it. Any other? Yeah,
Mayor, did Chief Ralph Martin have anything to do with that, starting up that broadband, or was he just a part of the meetings?
He was just a part of that, because our communication system is down at the police department.
Okay.
It's in a very secure location. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is adjourned.